Hi there, John Call here. Well, last night Governor Dayton gave his State of the State address. It was rather late in historic terms for a State of the State address. His major theme is we've got $2 billion surplus. Such opportunities don't come very often, and it's a good time to make some major investments after basically 10 years of deficits. He developed four main themes. One of them had to do with more investment in higher education, and he's concerned about the price of tuition, and he wants to address that. A second, and actually his primary concern, is education. As you know, he wants to put an awful lot of money into early education. His third priority or theme was transportation. He wants a robust transportation package this year. And finally, he wants a big bonding bill as well. He encouraged legislators to take political risks to do what was right. He does have the advantage of not having to run again, but I think we all would like it if our elected officials had a little more courage to address tough problems. The speech was forceful. He didn't mince words in terms of what he thought was important. It's interesting when you listen to Governor Dayton speak. He has a rather halting speaking style. But if you read his speech, it's very well written, very logical, very well organized, and as a matter of fact, he writes his own speeches, which not many politicians at that level do. So it's also interesting to note that despite his lack of charisma, he is a fairly popular governor right now, by judging by the more recent polls. He's above 50%, which in this day and age is very high for an elected official. Before I turn the mic over to Peg, I just wanted to mention that Senator Senjum did a great job earlier this week with the Learner Pupil Unit Modification Bill. And Representative Pearson is working hard on a hearing over here in the House on House File 2046, which is the counterpart to Senator Senjum's bill. And with that, I'll yield to Peg.
This is Peg Larson from the State Capitol, the end of another week here. This week they are going to be wrapping up the omnibus bills for finance. Senator Uyghur, Chair Uyghur, has announced that his bill will actually be online next Tuesday, and Wednesday there will be testimony from anybody in the audience, and on Thursday will be amendments by the senators only. It sounds like his bill is almost put together at this point in time, and I think it probably will be in pretty good shape. The House has not announced yet when they will be putting out their finance omnibus bill. The policy bill is already done. As you know, there are two committees in the House and one in the Senate. So it's going to be interesting to see how close to the deadline of April 24th the House Education Finance Committee goes. Now, as we all know, the governor gave his speech last night, and he's putting a ton of money into education, but that money is not anything extra on the formula. He's still doing 1% on the formula. The word is that he's hoping that the House and the Senate will raise their targets so that more can go on the formula, but he actually has targeted his money to early childhood education, and as he puts it, birth through the year 4 for children to be starting to be educated. He puts in a total of $695 million into education. He puts $40 million more into special ed, which is something very near and dear to his heart, which he obviously thinks is underfunded, and it has been underfunded for years. He likes universal pre-K, 4-year-olds, and there's been a lot of testimony about how the brain develops and how important those programs are. There still has not been any discussion about where school districts would put these children, but a lot of them would get scholarships and they could go to a private daycare, and the daycare organizations have testified against this because a lot of these programs would be in the schools and they feel it would take business away from them, and that's really been the only people who have testified against it. This year, American Indian education has been a very big issue, and they're putting quite a bit money in there. They're replacing the Success for the Future with another program that would go through the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Also, he is targeting 4 different places for teacher licensure and resources so that they can become people can become teachers in different ways than what qualifies you right now. He puts money into the teacher resources. There's 4 areas. One creates a new Teach Min program that provides loans and subsequent loan forgiveness. He creates a new Stepping Up for Kids program that would provide grants to paraprofessionals when they enroll in a Minnesota program leading to teacher licensure and agree to teach in high-need schools or high-need areas. He also increases funding to the Minnesota Indian Teacher Training Program. And the last but not least is a new Certificate of Advanced Professional Study called CAPS program developed by the Board of Teaching that allows for stackable subject credentials. As I said, he puts $40 million into special ed. He also puts $6 million into the regional centers of excellence, and he expands spending authority for teacher licensures fees. All in all, education seems to be his #1 priority, even though he started his State of the State with a joke saying that everything was his priority. But you could tell that that was the first thing he spoke of, and the one he really talked the most about is his education program and closing the achievement gap here in the state of Minnesota. We're ranked 15th from the bottom for our preschool programs in the nation, and he definitely wants to see that change. In the committee so far, they're hearing a few bills here and there, and we had a bill heard in Chair Uyghur's committee on Thursday, and that was Senator Senjum's Senate File 1287. And Jane Gibson came up and testified. She did an excellent job and talked about the learning pupil unit modification and the flexibility that that would allow. It was very well received by the committee and laid over for possible inclusion into the omnibus bill. And I guess we'll see that on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, and once again, thank you.